Welcome back, True Seeker. Following UFC 322, where the main event was headlined by the fighter Islam, who again picked up his 28th career win 28 days after Mom Donnie's birthday. The fight was in New York, where Mom Donnie became mayor-elect. And don't forget, in Gematria, Mom Donnie equals 28. But following UFC 322, there was a protest on the 322nd day of the year against the Islamification of America, and this took place in Dearborn, Michigan, said to be the American city with the highest and fastest growing rate of Muslims. And it was led, this protest against Muslims, by somebody who's Jewish, who has a sister that's in the Israeli Air Force, who went out and pretended to be a Christian and demonstrated nothing of Christian values. This man was said to be a January 6th rioter who was released by Donald Trump. Notice this Jewish guy who went out and chanted things like, "Time to bring on the crusades." Notice his name, you guys. Jake Lang, 47, like Trump, like racist. You see the headline here. Pardon January 6th rioter punched in the face during racist march. This guy, he even wore a patch with the number 47 on it. But yeah, look into him. Jake Lang, he's Jewish, and he went out and claimed to be a Christian, but was not, and instigated a religious war. This is why I've said 1,000 times, the biggest mistake about this country was granting freedom of religion instead of freedom from religion. I really think religion should be banned. It's all about ego. It's all about ignorance. It's all about keeping people stunted. And without religion, it's hard to instigate any wars. If you have not seen what took place in Dearborn, Michigan, November 18th, the 322nd day of the year, go look, because this is how we're going to get played against each other, just like how Mom Donnie is getting played by the system. As I've explained a million times, they scared the West with Islam as this terrorist threat, when really these are mostly very good people. And it's funny how opposed conservatives are to Islam, because Islamic people are pretty damn conservative, very family-oriented, definitely not into the LGBTQ2 thing. They're religious. Again, these are kind of very conservative values. Sure, they're saying Allah instead of God, but at the end of the day, we all came from one creator, or maybe a collection of creators. I don't know. No man does. But whatever we came from, we all came from the same thing. I don't know why people can't just agree to that. So, anyway, again, if you're new here, this Gematria thing, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. They are the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. You can see how Jake Lang equals 61 and 47, just like the word Christian equates to 61 and 47. Keep in mind, Jesus is 61, cross is 61, Christmas is 61. 61 is not an arbitrary number. It comes from sacred geometry, the flower of life, the shape that represents Creator. It's made out of 61 overlapping circles. And again, this practice, which is mostly Jewish, it relates to sacred geometry. His name also equates to 155 like Christianity. His name also equates to 25 and 47 like Trump. He spray painted "cuck" on a candidate's vehicle at the protest, which, funny enough, equals 25, probably all part of the planned agent provocateur behavior. Again, if you didn't see what this man did, he went around slapping the Quran with bacon, igniting a Quran on fire. And look at what all the conservative right-wingers are doing on YouTube. People that have millions of subscribers, they're not showing any of his instigating behavior. Instead, they're showing what happened at the end of the night when a crowd gathered around him, threatening him, after he'd spent hours threatening to crusade these people and doing everything else I just mentioned. Again, it's amazing how YouTube allows these people to get massive on their platform who spread nothing but divisive propaganda. Imagine how dishonest it is to not show any of that and then to say, look at how this American man was surrounded by these Muslim people and threatened. Anyway, adding insult to injury, he went around with this sign that said, "Americans Against Islamification." Notice something, you guys. That phrase equals 201, right? And they did this on November 18th, the anniversary of the founder of the Illuminati dying, Adam Weishaupt, who founded the Illuminati on May 1st, 201 days before his death anniversary, or 201 days, before his death. If you're new here, Order of Illuminati equals 201, just like the Jesuit Order equals 201, just like State of Israel equals 201. You can look up the images of this man in Israel at the Western Wall, kissing the wall. You can look into how David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. Not an arbitrary number, a number we talk about all the time. Don't forget when the Twin Towers came down, they went from 2 to 0 to 1. Very special number here. The CIA has a big connection to the 201. But yeah, as for Dearborn, Michigan becoming the Muslim capital of the U.S., Dearborn, Michigan equates to 87, the current Muslim mayor there, who was installed just before his 33rd birthday, reminding of how Mamdani won the primary on Freemasonry's birthday while he was 33. Again, Masonry equals 33, like secrecy, like order, like federal. But notice how the mayor's name equals 87, like Dearborn, Michigan, like Muslim. Again, this is why if you learn this knowledge, you can see through the agent provocateurs. By the way, just for the record, the word agent equals 47, like how there's that Hitman series where the main character is Agent 47. But yeah, if you haven't seen what this Jake Lang did in D.C., or not in D.C., but in Dearborn, check it out. And I suppose in D.C. too on January 6th. Again, carrying a cross, Jake Lang equals 61, like cross, like Jesus, like Christian, like church, like Christmas. And funny enough, he's Jewish. He's not Christian. But there's a relation there, of course. Jesus is Jewish from Judea. But yeah, he had this girl going around with a 74 hat. If you're new here, Jesus, cross, Messiah, gospel, parables, they all equal 74, like a cult, like Masonic. There he is kissing the Western Wall. He's got the teeny tiny cap on. And, you know, I've been spending time on CT's panel debating with his people. He had this Uncle Tom on a few weeks ago. I believe his name's Andre Williams. He was also here instigating. And it's real funny because he's running in his mouth and this guy comes up to him and says, "Keep talking, I'm going to knock your teeth out." And he just shuts up and becomes quieter than a church mouse. But, united we stand, divided we fall. And because people continue to ignore, the kind of information yours truly is putting out about how this game's being played with us. Remember, Obama was installed November 4th. Mamdani was installed November 4th, 114. There's 114 chapters in the Quran. Again, I'm not against Islam. I'm just showing you how the cabal is playing the game, using the numbers from these spiritual texts and dividing people over their ego and their ignorance and their beliefs. Again, most Islamic people are perfectly good people. I used to teach in what once upon a time was the most Muslim school district in the United States, which was South Seattle. Half my classroom had Muslim parents. A lot of them couldn't speak English, but very nice people. Even if they couldn't speak, they'd come in, show that they were there for their child. They'd bring nice little treats for the teacher. You could tell they were caring, kind people. They never said, "Oh, are you Muslim? Because if not, it's going to be jihad on you." That never happened. You got to see the game that's being played. There's a reason that after the powers that shouldn't be destroyed those towers and scared us all with Islam, they started bringing in a lot of Islamic refugees into the country from the same nations that were war-torn from the kind of things the West has been involved with. And yeah, this Jake Lang guy, it's just unbelievable. The language he uses, the things he's saying. It really drives me nuts. Again, I don't consider myself Christian. I left the church as a child because I saw through the deception and how people use it as a shield to hide how bad they actually are. But it still does bother me when these fake, phony, fraudulent people claim to be Christian when they're really evil, demonic human beings like this guy. Yeah, it's just... Anyway. I might do a longer live stream on this at some point. Again, you guys, I just haven't been real motivated to do anything on this channel because it's dead, and there's not enough people willing to help out. This channel's dead. It's irrelevant. Like I said, 2 other veteran YouTubers have been around and stuck around on YouTube. Their channels were as dead as mine until Charlie Kirk came around. I got bigger views than either of them on the first video I did about Charlie Kirk, but you saw what happened. It was taken down for hate speech. 2 more videos were removed, and I haven't been able to get any views since. Their channels have blown back up. They're doing great now on YouTube, and yeah, that's frustrating to me because I'm like, look at that. I'm getting cheated even worse here, man. But yeah, it does just make me think, like, why am I, like, why invest all this time? And by the way, those 2 guys, they didn't expose anything. They didn't connect any dots or bring anybody to anything, but they got attention. They got attention, and the point of this work is to get the message out. Getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 100 likes, 200 likes. I mean, that's nothing, you guys. You got to understand the way the sheep think. They look at a channel like mine and go, oh, nobody's even watching that channel. Look, hardly even likes. Everybody knows this is a bunch of crap. That's the way their minds work. And when it's not a bunch of crap, it's exposing what's going on. So. Yeah, if I can get the 50-some thousand people on this channel to actually watch a few videos and hit the like button, I might get motivated to come right back because I do have a lot more to say about this, but I'll leave it there for now. Till next time, Truth Seeker.